Once again, the old enemy comes to town. But can the 49ers pull off a second straight victory against the Rams? Let's talk about it. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I am Rob Stats Guerrera, here with a very special guest. Johnny Dell is off today, so we don't have our film breakdown, but don't worry, we got you covered because instead of Johnny, we have Jake Ellenbogen, the number one most trustworthy Rams content creator anywhere. What's up, Jake?
I appreciate you, Rob. Man, not much, getting ready to go out to this game. And then I'm done for a little bit with traveling because it takes a lot out of you. But no, I'm excited. I was at I'm sure you knew that by now, but I was at the previous game, and yeah, that I felt every inch of that heartbreak. So no, I'm excited for this one. It's two really good teams. I think they're both top 10. I think people are selling the 49ers short. But that said, it's like, how many injuries is too many? And I think we have reached that point. But I've been really impressed with the job that they've done, but not as impressed as I've been watching you, Rob. You kill it. I want to give a shout out to you, hat tip to you. It's why I go out of my way to collab with you, with Jesse, with Grant. I say it all the time. I'm like, the 49ers have three of the best content creators out there. And so I always go out of my way. At least one of the weeks, I'm going to get all three of you on a show. So I'm excited to do this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And if anybody follows me on Twitter and follows Tim Kawakami on Twitter, Jake doesn't just talk the talk. He walks the walk. He jumped right into the discussion when Kawakami was trying to badmouth 49ers YouTubers, of which he is one, by the way. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want to start with the actual game. Yeah. Massive game, incredibly huge game, not just in the division, but in the NFC as a whole. And I feel like everything I said going into the first game applies to this game, except the 49ers somehow won the first game. I still don't know how they did it, Jake. Can you explain to me how it happened the first time? Because Matthew Stafford threw for 1 billion yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He threw for no interceptions. The 49ers ran for 2.2 yards per carry in the game. They had no George Kittle, no Kendrick, or no Ricky Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk in the game, no Juwan Jennings in the game. Somehow they won. I still don't understand it.
I do. I think really they still had Fred Warner, so that was good. Without Fred Warner, that's a different looking defense. But
yes, it is.
But that said, it really comes down to Chris Shula playing a defense we haven't seen him play since Josh Allen and the Bills. And that game was in the 40s, Not really sure why they decided to treat Mac Jones like he was Josh Allen playing, way off. And it was wild. I saw it early on. Brandon at the Hawks Nest, we were with the round table, and Brandon pointed out, he's like, man, if they're going to play off like this, it's going to be a long day. And then, it was funny because I remember Jesse, and I was thinking this. I remember Jesse mentioning it. It was like, where's the robber? There's nobody over the middle. It's like you have, like, Mac Jones is just dicing you up, but like at the same time, you're allowing it. And there was no adjustments. And really, the offense played well enough to win that football game. So, yeah, obviously special teams has been an issue. So the Rams have gone out and they have created a kicker competition, which I think Josh Carty is a great kicker. I think right now it's more than just him. But you guys aren't, too shy of kicker controversies, obviously.
Hold on. Kicker update. We got a situation with the Rams. Are we gonna have a new kicker this week?
I don't think so, but that was amazing. I was not ready for that. This is why I love Rob.
I've got so much use out of that. And let me just tell you, you make the switch. I argued that Eddie Pinheiro could be the Niners' first half MVP. He hasn't missed a kick.
I know, and it doesn't always look pretty, but it goes through.
Yep, they all count the same. So
He
all right,
just hits line drives. Like against the Giants, he was slipping and sliding and didn't matter.
nope, doesn't matter. All it's got to do is clear. Against the Rams in overtime, right? The go-ahead field goal doinks off the upright.
Yeah. I actually didn't remember that, but thank you for that.
Sorry.
But no, I think like Josh Carty's really good. I mean, he made like 25 in a row going back to last year. Then he has the Eagles blocked kick, and I just think the operation's just bad as a whole. So they're trying to do whatever they can. They brought in Harrison Mevis, yes, the thicker kicker, if you remember him from Mizzou. Why is he called the thicker kicker? Because his body composition, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so he is joining the Rams on their practice squad. Sean McVay confirmed that they will be in a little bit of a battle there. And they brought back Jake McQuaid, who was signed as a UDFA by the St. Louis Rams in 2011. Two-time Pro Bowler, long snapper for the Rams. He was the long snapper in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And then they let him go, just like they let their great special teams coordinator go, and they've never had a better special teams since. So he is back, and they did confirm he's going to take over the long snapping duties. He's 37 years old and hasn't long snapped all year. And I mean, if they want to, go for the jugular there, like doing things that are just wild, Harrison Mevis has never kicked in the NFL. So
wow.
In a regular season game anyway. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now.
Hey, special teams. The Niners, one of the rare times the Niners will have the advantage on special teams will be on Sunday. It doesn't happen often for San Francisco.
But I want Thursday.
I want to pose a theory to you because I've been saying it all this week because I think it's true. But obviously, you cover the Rams. You know this team better than me. But I maintain that even though Sean McVay is a better coach than Kyle Shanahan, Kyle is in his head. I think he has so much respect for Kyle Shanahan that it messes with his brain and it causes him to do weird, crazy stuff that he wouldn't normally do. And Kyle usually takes advantage of that. In case in point, overtime of the previous matchup, he's running the ball. He's taking the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands in overtime when he has been carving the 49ers up and gives them a gift and a chance to get off the field, which they did. I think Shanahan is in McVay's head. Do you agree or disagree?
It's interesting because, I mean, the Rams had won, three of the last? They had won 3 in a row up until the Thursday game.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still agree with you because look at the way they won at the end of last year. It was in San Francisco. It was in the rain. I get that. But, that was pulling teeth to win that game. And they literally came back from the gallows to win the game earlier in the year. They should have lost that game. And there was a lot that had to go down. And Sean McVay hasn't really put away a Kyle Shanahan 49ers team. Obviously he's won, they won 3 straight, but he hadn't really put them away. I do wonder if they do in this game, because I think the big thing that I feel so confident in when it comes to the Rams is the fact that obviously we know they have a defense and everybody on the defense is playing well. I mean, literally everybody. And I would assume Chris Shula is not going to make the same mistake twice, right? And playing Mac Jones like he's Josh Allen or Brock Purdy. But the big thing is the red zone. And this has always been a McVay issue. He has moments where he's good in the red zone, but then I feel like he overthinks things, to your point. In the red zone, he was overthinking it in overtime. No idea what he was thinking there. Ran the same play against the Eagles, and that was stuffed. The exact same play. On a 4th down, of course. So I feel really good about the red zone operation right now. Devontae Adams has 5 touchdowns in 2 games. Stafford has 9 touchdowns in 2 games. Should have 10. He had 1 taken away on a face mask call. It was kind of BS. But that said, they are passing the ball in the red zone. Stafford is racking up the passing touchdowns. Now all of a sudden people care, right? Because it's oh, he's padding his stats. I'm I would argue it's kind of hard to pass in the red zone, truthfully. And he's doing a nice job.
Not the way they do it, that he had that touchdown pass to Puka against the Niners, or Puka's on the 1 yard line and basically just falls down.
Oh
and
yeah,
Stafford throws it to him on the ground essentially, which is unstoppable. I'm not saying that to crap on the Rams. Like it's an unstoppable play. And then now with Devontae, like he has such chemistry with Stafford. They just make it up. Like they're like, all right, if the defender's here before the play, you go to the outside. If he's shading you outside, you go to the inside, and I'm just gonna rip a pass. Like you can't stop that.
yeah. And guess what, Rob? They didn't have that in week 5. They didn't. They actually tried to force it over and over and over again. It just wasn't there. And it's funny because like Tutu Atwell was a huge contributor, in that game. And Tutu Atwell is going to be out for this one. And we keep talking about, maybe we're going to see Konate Mumfield and we're going to see Xavier Smith and we're going to see Jordan Whittington. And really it's just been effort from the tight ends, effort from the running backs, obviously Puka Nacua, obviously Devontae Adams. So it's really interesting. Rob, they've started to go with more of a 13 personnel look, and it's completely changed this offense. And they did that when Nacua went down. So I said it was a blessing in disguise when Nacua went down because it gave him like kind of a breather. They were overusing him and forced McVay to use other guys, and we're seeing it now.
Is he healthy?
Nacua? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, I have given you credit when you're not here, so I should do it while you're here because I was so skeptical about Matthew Stafford's back, and I didn't think he was going to be healthy. And you, from the beginning, said he is fine. I never wavered on that, and you were 1,000% right. I was 1,000% wrong. You're smart. I'm dumb.
You're not dumb, Rob. Never say that.
I was wrong about that. So credit to you. But no problem. What I have said about Matthew Stafford in years past, and really even before last week, before they played the first time, in my experience, when the Niners have played the Rams, Matthew Stafford would always give you 1 to 2 chances per game to take the ball away. Even when he was playing well, he would still give you those 1 to 2 chances. When they played in the rain last year, the game you talked about, the Niners dropped like 3 or 4 interceptions in that game.
Yeah.
He's not doing that anymore. 21 touchdowns, 2 picks for Matthew Stafford. How has he cut that out of his game?
Yeah, and it's funny because they still have him thrown way down the field. And he's just, I don't know, he's so pinpoint accurate. Like I say it all the time. Like when Russell Wilson was at his best, he was pinpoint accurate. Now he's like generally accurate, if even. When you're generally accurate, now you need a receiver to make some crazy catch every time. When you're pinpoint accurate, it's right where it needs to be. And sometimes, like Puka Nacua is going to have to make a catch that you literally can't replicate in a video game. And that happens. But for the most part, Stafford puts it where it needs to be. I'd say 97% of the time. It just feels that way. This is the best Stafford's ever been. And this, I will say this, because I said it all during the offseason. And you actually, you quote tweeted it and had some fun. This is the best iteration of a Rams Sean McVay team, period. And it doesn't have an Aaron Donald, and it doesn't have the Andrew Whitworth, but it's the depth. That is why this team is so good. They're so deep. They don't have their number 1 corner right now. I mean, obviously, I'd love to have him. The guy's jersey in the back there. But they don't have him. They have had, constant, Tutu Atwell here and whatever. But I think they've just done a really nice job of just staying the course. And like Emmanuel Forbes, a guy that was just tossed away by the Commanders, they got him for the future, not just last year, but they want him for this year and the next year. And so Forbes just coming off his best game of his career. I know it was the Saints. I don't really care it was the Saints. He's been one of the better corners the last, I think, 4 weeks it was. He's one of the highest rated PFF, and then Darius Williams is playing at a high level. He missed last week. He's going to be back for this week. So that's the thing. It's like not just the Staffords. It's not just the Devontae Adams. It's not just Kyron Williams. It's also like Terrence Ferguson, your 2nd-round pick who, he's going to be inactive for like every game. And then all of a sudden he's not. And now he just catches everything. He caught that crazy 3rd down conversion against the Niners on Thursday Night Football. I think that was his first catch of his career, which was just wild to see. So,
don't like hearing that. None of that sounds good to me, Jake.
Sorry.
Just laying that out there. Marcus Lionheart says, Rob, you completely missed my chats, but more importantly, my golden super chat yesterday. You're typically really good at seeing everyone's, but it seemed like it was a banally chat day. So first of all, I apologize, Marcus. I really didn't see it. I really do try to do my best to get everybody's chats in, and obviously the super chats, of course, we appreciate those as well. So that's my fault. If you tell me how much it was, I'll give it back to you. I'm not trying to take anybody's money here. I just missed it, and I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. So apologies there, but we do appreciate you, all the YouTube channel members, everybody. Thank you very much. Let me ask you, Jake, what scares you about this matchup with the 49ers? Is there anything about the 49ers that scares you?
Not really.
That's a long pause.
I was trying to think of something. It's not that I don't respect this team, but like, for instance, I think Seattle's the second best team in football. Am I scared of Seattle? No, because I do think the Rams are the best team. And really, the Rams, in my opinion, have shot themselves in the foot more than other teams have beaten them. And like, I do believe they should be undefeated. I believe that they shot themselves in the foot against the 49ers, although I think the Niners outplayed the Rams way more than the Eagles did. The Eagles did not deserve that game. That was a Rams shooting themselves in the foot all day long. And so, I mean, George Kittle, like, that's the thing. I mean, George Kittle, I love George Kittle. I think he's fantastic. But, like, you just get to the point where it's like, who really... You don't have an A.J. Brown, a Drake London on the outside that can really be a mismatch to the corners. So, I don't know. I don't really think anybody scares me. I mean, Fred Warner takes away a lot of the things that you want to do. I think he's a big reason why, like, Nakua had, like, a quiet 10-catch, 80-yard performance. That's considered quiet with Nakua, you know? But I feel... like that's what I would say. I mean, if I was going to say anybody, but right now it just doesn't feel like the pass rush is where it needs to be going up against this team. And if you like, I hear all the time, oh, just blitz Stafford. Have you seen his numbers against the blitz?
No,
have you seen him? By all means, Robert Saleh, if you want to blitz Stafford, go right ahead and do it. Right ahead.
That is not, well, first of all, what we've seen with the 49ers blitz is even when they do blitz, it doesn't get home. So you're blitzing, it's not going to get home, and you're going to make it easier for him to throw against your secondary, which has its own problems. So as scary as it is for me, I don't think they should blitz. They're going to depend a lot on Bryce Huff, who should be back for this game, to try and cause something, because other than that, they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody that can make any quarterback uncomfortable, let alone a quarterback that's playing as well as Matthew Stafford is right now.
Yeah.
My sort of path to victory for the Niners is you sort of have to do what the Texans did to the Niners a couple of weeks ago. The Niners offense has to just have these 10, 12, 14 play drives and just methodically go down the field. You don't need explosive plays. You almost don't want them because you want to hold the ball. You have to protect your defense because the defense is not going to be able to stop Matthew Stafford, 9, 10 times there. It's just not going to happen. So you need to protect your defense. You need to control the ball. You need to go for it on 4th and short, no matter where you are, Kyle Shanahan. And you have to do it that way and hope that you could sort of shorten the game. Because if not, I just don't know how this defense, with no Bosa and no Warner and no Michael Williams, is going to be able to slow down the Rams offense, at least this iteration of it.
Yeah. Now we've used iteration in a sentence twice.
Yeah. Well, it's a valuable word.
It's a great word. Everybody should pick it up in their vocabulary. Iteration's a great word. Use it.
So can I change let me just put a 49er jersey on you for 1 second.
No, let's not ever do that.
If I was going to ask you how the 49ers should attack the Rams, how would they do that?
Well, it's tough because the big thing is if you can run against the Rams, I think you got a shot. Because, like I said, Chris Shula is just not going to give you those gimmies this week. He just hasn't been doing it. That was weird. That was just weird. I can't even believe they came out with that game plan. Awful. But, yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey he's running the ball well against bad defenses. But, I mean, this defense is absolutely stifling the run. I mean, the Saints literally needed to just throw Taysom Hill out there to get anything going in the run game. Like they had one run and then they're like, oh, there we go. And then they couldn't get anything after that. So ironically, right? Because everybody is like knows the Rams is, oh, they're the team that gave 400 yards up to Saquon Barkley in 2 games. Well, they did a lot in the offseason, and their run defense is disgusting. I mean, Poona Ford does a great job. Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, and then Nate Landman. He had another punch out. He's had 3 punch outs this year for fumbles. Peanut punch galore. Gotta love Landman. But if you are the 49ers and you're trying to win this game, I personally would try and I would really go after the corners. Like, I would really test them. Darius Williams will be back in this game, but, like, is he 100%, right? And then you have Emmanuel Forbes, who's coming off his best game, and he had an interception. Does he start to get a little, like, okay, everything's easy now. I'm going to jump this route. Oh, crap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you have Kobe Durant, who literally tried to jump a route and ended up screwing up Quentin Lake because he got in front of him. He didn't get the interception, and then Lake couldn't see the ball because he was in front of him, and then the guy caught it. So I feel like if I am the 49ers, I am not going to be able to win yards after the catch because they're not going to play off like that. And this is one of the better tackling teams out there. I'm not going to be able to run the football really. So I honestly am going after the corners and I am testing them. And I'm not saying the corners are going to fail, but I'm saying that's your best chance. If you can get them matched up, and I don't even know who is healthy in your wide receiver. Like, who are we getting this week? Is Ricky Pearsall back?
No, Pearsall is not going to play. You're going to see Kendrick Bourne, who, for whatever reason, had 10
was Jerry Rice last time. So
yeah, Juwan Jennings is. I don't want to say he's healthy because he's got like 8 different injuries, but he's going to play. Okay. And then what I hope they do is I hope they feature Jordan Watkins a lot more, who's a rookie, who was hurt. He's finally come back. He only gets like 1 target a game, which is infuriating because I think he's actually pretty good. He's very fast. Like, he's their one guy that could catch a short slant and take it to the house. Like, he's got that kind of explosive speed.
Okay.
So that is something. And then obviously Kittle can, he can make big plays as well. So that's what we're going with this week. Ricky Pearsall ain't going to play. Brandon Ayuk, I don't think we're going to see Brandon Ayuk again this season. I don't think we're going to see Brock Purdy again this season. It is going to be very much a skeleton crew against the Rams this week, like it was last time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really like your chances. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had to find any way to attack this team, you want to go after their corners. And can you even have those long developing plays to, appropriately attack the corners when you have this defensive front? Probably not. So it's tough. But I think really if the 49ers want to win this, they attack the corners on the offense. They're going to have to force turnovers on the defensive side. They're going to have to steal possessions. And they're going to have to, their special teams unit's better than the Rams. They're going to have to go and get a takeaway on special teams. It's stuff like that where, like, I hate sounding like that because, like, I have a lot of respect for this team. Make no mistake about it. But the way the Rams were week 5, that was an outlier. Like, they don't call a defense like that. They just don't. And that offense was on the cusp of really figuring themselves out. And they've only gotten better since. So I think I saw something they've outscored teams by like 80 points since that game. So, yeah, in total. So,
great for us. Yeah. William Duncan says they never believe the Niners will win until they do. Division games are different, especially Rams and Seahawks. Kyle lives for this game against the Rams. Should be a tight game.
I mean, I get the sentiment, but also think about this. Like, if the Rams had won week 5, I'd probably pick the Niners in this game. This just kind of feels, okay, they got the, but it's hard to sweep a division rival who's good, in a season. It's really hard. I don't think they're going to do it. I got to be honest with you. I don't think so. But I did have initially the Rams losing this game coming into the year and the Rams winning week 5. So I always had the split. And I had the split against Seattle too, and people gave me hate for it. And they're like, no, the Rams are going to go 5-1 or 6-0 in the division. I'm like, you guys are sleeping on Seattle. Like, what the hell? But I think they're going to win this game, and I think they're going to do it because they couldn't stop Kyron Williams last time except for, at the goal line. So that's a good time to stop him. But he ran well. And also just the way they used him in the passing game. That was interesting as well. So yeah. I don't know. I think they're going to stop Christian McCaffrey. Is Purdy going to play?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. Now you have a real shot. Because I think if Purdy played, he'd throw 3 picks against this defense.
Look, Mac was incredible at protecting the ball in that game. But like you said, it was a lot of like easy kind of gimme throws that were just right there over the middle. So he didn't really force anything. They kind of did make it easy on him. He threw the ball 49 times, in that game for 342 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks. How about between Stafford and Mac Jones? There was 96 passes in the game.
That game was insane to be in attendance for that game. Like, and I'm watching Jesse's reaction when like Stafford's just uncorking one to Tutu Atwell.
God, when he drops back and spins, he knows exactly where he's going with the ball, but he spins just to give himself another couple minutes or a couple seconds.
Ridiculous.
And then just rips it down the field.
It's like, who is completing that throw? Like it's just wild to me. Like that. There was one this past week where he did like a back juke. I'm like, and you're supposed to tell me that this guy is close to retirement?
37 years old. He's still ripping the ball. Some guys just have the arm where like it just never leaves them. Other stuff leaves, their willingness to get hit, their body maybe does, breaks down over time.
Yeah.
But the arm is good.
You know who still has a good arm? Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Because people forget, he had a rocket arm coming out of Delaware, and that never left. So he can manipulate defenses, and he can throw but I'll tell you right now, Stafford, I mean, he's been doing it his whole career, and I'm not even going to say he's finally getting credit, because as soon as I say that, then it's like there's another dude that has some crazy game, and then all of a sudden he's getting the credit. But yeah, right now, I think the best chance the 49ers have is for Mac Jones to play, because Mac Jones is going to take better care of the football than Brock Purdy. I just think in the past, Rams defenses would bite on Brock Purdy. This year, no. Like I saw something, they haven't allowed a 3rd and 12 to be converted, 3rd and 12 plus. Like,
yeah, Kyle mentioned that in his press conference yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy. So there you go.
We've got a super chat from Foot who says, I watched Jake on the roundtable. Refreshing to hear your takes. Purdy, as someone who isn't a fan, reminds me I'm not crazy to think he isn't the answer. I'm like stunned.
Thank you, Foot.
It was, we got to sign Purdy. We got to sign. Like the overwhelming sentiment was we have to sign Purdy. And then he signed, and Mac Jones comes in and plays. And now everyone's like, I can't believe we signed Purdy. I was like, where were all you people, 6 months ago before he got paid? Now, there were some, I think Jesse was skeptical of it.
Jesse was very skeptical of it.
I feel like many more people were like, pay him. And now all of a sudden they're like, we shouldn't have paid him because Mac Jones is here. And I'll just say this. Before Mac Jones had 2 touchdowns and no picks against the Giants, even though he should have had a pick, but they called it a fumble. In his last 5 starts, he had 5 touchdowns and 5 picks. So he had not really done that good of a job of taking care of the ball either. Now, he did against the Giants. He had only the 1 turnover, like I said. But that is job number 1 for the Niners. Like, you cannot turn the football over.
Yeah, no, you can't.
It's not just winning the matchup. It's you can't have any, and you need to force some, like you said.
Yeah, and that makes it really tough. And that's what happens. Like, these teams, when they lose their players, they're still good enough to steal games. These are still NFL level players. But you literally have to have everything go right. And if anything goes wrong, a team that has as many injuries as the Niners, it's going to make it damn near impossible to win.
It's going to narrow the path to victory for sure. Quinn says, YouTube channel member, I'll be more shocked if this is a blowout either way. I'm expecting a close game. You're right about the special teams. I should have mentioned that. somehow, I'm not really sure how this is happening, but Brian Robinson has turned into a good kick returner for the 49ers. He had a 40-yard return last week. He had a long kick return the week before. I don't get it because it's like it's happening in slow motion because he is not a fast human being, but somehow they've been able to do it. The Niners actually have one of the best starting field positions in the NFL. Unfortunately, they also allow the worst starting field position in the NFL. So they're basically anybody on kickoffs gets good returns against the 49ers, and the Niners return it well too. But they may have to do some things on special teams. And I keep pointing it out. Kyle Shanahan has never called a fake punt in 9 years. Not one. He has never called one. They ran one time, but it got called back due to penalty. But that was just the punter doing it on his own. Kyle has never called one. If you were ever going to do it, this might be the game for it.
Yeah. You pull out all the stops. It's like that team that's 3-11, and they know that only their diehard fans are watching. It's like, all right, yeah, let's give them a fake punt. Let's give them something to be happy about. And then you're celebrating. Yeah, I went through that with the St. Louis Rams, but you get the point. Yeah, I think it's. I agree with you on that. I do, and back to the whole Brock Purdy thing. By the way, where were you on that? By the way, with Brock Purdy, did you want him paid?
So at first I was, you can't pay this guy. But I talked to my friend RJ Ochoa, who kind of turned me around on it. And his point essentially was like, teams are able to get out of these contracts. And we saw it with Russell Wilson, and we've seen it with some other guys. They're not as much of a ball and chain as you think. And so once I kind of realized that and looked into it and saw that he was right, I was like, all right, let's do it. But I'm under no illusions that, Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback by any stretch of the imagination.
There are some people out there that do believe that.
Yeah, well, those people are not watching the other teams play football, I guess. But no, I mean, I think Brock is a top 10 quarterback in the league. Now, I do think recently he has just stopped taking checkdowns, and he's forcing the ball, and that's leading to some of the turnovers. Like, dude, just do the easy thing. And that's what Mac Jones has done for so much of this. Check down, guys open 3. There you go. Getting it out of my hands, helping out my offensive line, staying positive, keeping the offense moving in the right direction. That is what he has done, and Brock has sort of gotten away from that, and it's bit him in the ass, and Brock himself has even acknowledged that.
Yeah, I think having that taste of success can really kind of corrupt the way you're playing, and that's kind of what I was saying about Emmanuel Forbes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries and jumps a route now because he's feeling good, and I think we've seen that with Brock Purdy. Like, he's become one of those guys where it's like, I had 31 touchdowns and all that. And now it's like, I'm paid. I know what I'm doing. And he's not playing within the confines of the system. And he's not really acting like a Kyle Shanahan quarterback, which is really interesting. I personally would not have paid him. I said this at the time. And the reason is because of the Tommy John.
Well, it wasn't technically Tommy John.
Okay. I would not have touched him with a 10-foot pole after that whole issue with his elbow. Wouldn't have touched him.
The crazy thing is he came back and was rehabbing his arm till Thanksgiving in 20 and he was playing and they were winning, and it was like, what the the whole thing is bizarre. And the fact that
it
now
is bizarre.
He's still practicing, but they're not playing. And now even John Lynch was like, well, maybe he'll be the backup. And I'm sitting there if you're healthy enough to be the backup, you're healthy enough to start the game. It's such a stupid thing to do. He better not be the backup. If I have to watch Mac Jones while Brock Purdy is out there in the uniform on the sideline, that's not a look you want. That's a quarterback controversy, right? That's not what you want if you're the 49ers.
After paying somebody.
Right. If Mac Jones is going to play, you want Brock on the sideline in the sweats. That's what you're looking for. Because otherwise...
hey. Rob, this was a big thing that I said when they paid him. I said, look at when the Rams paid Jared Goff. Look at what happened. 2019, they don't make the playoffs. 2020, they do, but he gets benched for John Wolford. John Wolford literally started the playoff game against Seattle. They concussed him. Jadeveon Clowney helmeted him. No penalty. Dude got carried out on a stretcher. And then I almost said Sam Bradford. That's what he reminded me of. Jared Goff comes in, only has 9 fingers. He's definitely injured. Wins the game. Barely. I mean, that was ugly football. And then he played decently well in Lambeau against the Packers. But That was it. That's after he got paid. So literally, Super Bowl loss, 2019, where like everybody gets hurt, you miss the playoffs by one game. And then 2020 is the last year and he gets benched for John Wolford. These are things that happen. And so I almost see like the exact same thing happening. And it's like I'm one of those people, I do believe that whole conspiracy theory that Mac Jones was the guy that Kyle Shanahan wanted and Trey Lance was the guy that John Lynch wanted. They went with Trey Lance. I mean, I predicted Mac Jones to go to the Niners. I knew he was going there.
Well, that's the whole, like the fact that the backup quarterback is doing this, and then you throw on top of that the fact that the backup quarterback is the guy they didn't draft when they traded the whole thing. It's unbelievable. It's a ridiculous situation.
The Rams did the same thing with Carson Wentz, to be fair. I know that there were a lot of guys in that building that wanted Wentz over Goff.
Mm-hmm. By the way, one of those games was, well, you mentioned the Rams had won 3 straight against the Niners. One was Carson Wentz starting against Sam Darnold.
Yes.
It was like the final week of the season. We got a super chat here from Vic. Thank you, Vic. Says shootout or defensive heavyweight fight. I don't think it's a shootout because you need both teams to score a bunch of points in a shootout, and I don't think the Niners can do that.
I don't think it's a heavyweight defensive fight either.
Yeah, I mean, unless Robert Saleh, I don't know what he's going to do. I will say this. Tatum Bethune, who's filling in for Fred Warner, leads the NFL in tackles since he got in there. So that's good. And it's not like, oh, all the tackles are 8 yards past the line of scrimmage either. Like he's been playing well. He's not Fred Warner, but he has been playing well. D Winters has been playing well. He's a little banged up right now, but he's out there. The corners for the Niners, I think, are good. Lenore and Green, I think, are solid. Now, look, you're going up against friggin' Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, so that's a little scary. The safeties for the Niners are awful. So that scares me a little bit. And I don't think they're going to get pressure. So it's going to have to be a bend and don't break performance. And then hopefully if you can hold the Rams in the red zone, and maybe your field goal operation is all screwed up this week and that can swing things.
That's certainly possible. That is certainly possible. And there you go. That's the road, what is it? The road map? That's what it is. Yeah. The road map to victory. If you can do what the Eagles did and just hold the Rams to just kick after kick after kick in the red zone and they all just miss, there you go.
Now, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, I just want to give a shout out again to Sleeper. Thank you so much, Sleeper, for hopping on during this football season. And if you haven't hopped in with Sleeper yet, you should. Because first of all, the app is super easy to use, and it's not just about picks and points and all that. Go on. They have news there. They have a real community that they're building there where you can interact with different people and talk about your team or other teams or whatever you want to talk about there. But it's really not just a one-stop shop. There's a whole bunch of things to check out on the app. I highly recommend you do it. And you don't even have to deposit any money. Just go sign up now and you'll get a free $20 entry. So check out the app, see if you like it, use your free entry. And if you like it and you want to deposit money, you can use my code, which is GSP. You'll get up to 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And I know, Jake, you have a Sleeper code as well.
Yeah, you can use JKB if you want to support the channel as well. So
see, that's like me. I like nice short codes. Dan VN's from the Seahawks Forever. His code is like 3 letters.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. 3 letters. Get you in and back to your real life. GSP is the code to use for me. And again, you get up to 100% match on your first deposit, up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. Check out Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Now, I mentioned at the top, you did not hesitate to run headlong into a conversation with Tim Kawakami, who 49er fans know. If Rams fans don't know, Tim has covered the 49ers for a long time. And sort of out of the blue, Tim starts bashing YouTubers, anybody that covers the team on YouTube, which is hilarious. And as I tweeted him, he has a show that is on YouTube with Matt Barrows. And Matt Mayoko, who's like the godfather of 49ers beat writers, has a YouTube channel that he started this year. And so he starts banging on YouTubers, and I'm sitting there like, hey, what the hell did we do?
It is funny to me because we do a lot of the thing. Like, look, the idea that both worlds can exist, where you have the journalists and then you have the YouTubers, is just silly. It's just absolutely silly to me. Jordan Rodriguez covered the Rams. Now she's covering the NFL. Like, I know Jordan. Jordan was always supportive of me. Never once made me feel any type of way, right? And she would go on my show. She'd go on other people's shows. Like, I mean, Jordan is one of the best reporters ever.
Yes.
So let's just be honest here. She was clearly on another level, and she never viewed herself as better than anybody else. And I think just, really, it's gotten to this point where it's 2025, and I feel like print media, not everybody, but there are still people out there that don't quite realize the impact we have on this whole football society, because we are TV shows. People are watching this on their TV right now. We have plenty of people watching, and I know at least one person is watching this on either a Roku app or an Apple TV, using the YouTube app. I know that is what's happening right now. So just this idea, like garbage click heaven YouTubers, which I've never heard anything like that before. That was such a wild thing. I will always go to bat for people that work their ass off. And that's my thing, because I work really hard. And I typically only surround myself with people who work as hard as I do or harder than I do, which I can't find many of those people, but I know they exist. So that said, I will always go to bat for people like Rob, people like Jesse, people like Grant. I mean, the list goes on. You mentioned Dan, Brandon from the Hawks Nest, Mike, AZ Sports Fan. I know how much work goes into this. And I feel like a lot of people don't. And it's one thing to have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. But it's another to just outright bash people. And to your point, he's got a YouTube show. That's the funniest thing of it all. Is right. Like, so are you a YouTuber? Are you not a YouTuber? And the last thing I'll say, it's a lot easier to be part of a media platform and have that backing and create something through them than having to do it on your own. So, this gold standard, that's you. I have JE Live, I have Downtown Rams, I have some other things. That's me. Like, it is way harder to go out on your own. Don't think for a second either that Rob and I haven't been asked to do other things. I know for a fact, like, I've been asked to be a part of different networks and whatnot. I wanted to go about this on my own. Now I have the NFC West Roundtable, but that was after I had already kind of established what I had. So yeah, I think that's kind of the thing that needs to be talked about more. There are a lot of people out there that literally do it on their own. They set their own hours. Of course, the casual person out there is, oh, that sounds great. I wouldn't have to go to work ever. No, because you literally get paid as much as you put in. There's no like, oh yeah, I'm going to get paid to work 1 hour a day. Like, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, that's just how I see it. I'm glad you brought it up. I have no disrespect to Tim. I just disagree with what he said. And I was kind of advocating that he should collab with you guys. And I think we should see more of that. The way I see it is this. No offense to Tim Kawakami, but like Kurt Warner and Andrew Whitworth have been on my show. I got Quentin Lake during the bye week. Like, is Tim Kawakami too big to go on with Rob Guerrera? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, you really can kind of look at it like that. Like, I mean, I had George Kittle on before he became George Kittle. Okay. And I didn't have a podcast. I got him on a call recorder app on my phone out of Iowa. And I just DM'd him on Twitter and I was like, you have tape that is reminiscent of Michael Oher in The Blind Side. Like, it was insane watching him block. And he's like, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll come on your podcast. And then, like, there you go. And that's the thing. Is like, these people are more available than you would believe. And then you have these reporters that are acting like they're way up here. It's like, man, it's silly. It's absolutely silly. So yeah, long-winded response, but I'm glad you put it up there.
And for the audio listeners, Jake tweeted at Tim because Tim mentioned that term. You mentioned garbage click heaven. And you said, Jake, those garbage click heaven YouTubers work their asses off. Show some respect. The Niners have some of the best ones out there. And Tim responded to that. He quote tweeted it and said, that's fine. The bros got a bro, but why do they all have to scream at me? Just do your bro thing with your bros. I also respect whomever I want to respect. That is the one that is just dripping with condescension for me, because it's like you just see somebody that's on YouTube and you automatically disparage them as if YouTube is like a new website, right? Like, hey, dude, it's not bad. It's not going anywhere. And not only that, but two of the biggest people that in my opinion, say things for clicks mostly are David Lombardi, who works with Tim at the San Francisco Standard, and Grant Cohen. Both of those guys are credentialed beat writers in the room with Tim. So you're going to accuse YouTubers of saying crap just for clicks when two of the biggest, in my opinion, that do it are in the room with you. So the whole thing was just maddening, and I thought it was incredibly disrespectful. And I think the real crux of the issue for Tim, the 60-year-old beat writer, is he doesn't like that YouTube has given people a platform, and he doesn't like that people have used that platform to gain the ear of 49er fans, because he thinks that only he and the beat writers should have that platform, and that we haven't earned it and they've earned it. And that's what he really doesn't like, that I could just start up my show, start the Gold Standard Network, and have 49er fans listen to me. Not a lot, but some. And I don't think that he likes that. I think he thinks it's, I don't know, unfair, I guess, or that we didn't earn it.
Well, you said it perfectly. They went to college and all of that for this. They put in their work. They interned. And now they're seeing it as, oh, this is like a get out of jail free card. I mean, I'm a college dropout out of a community college. I literally, you know what I mean? I was working at a grocery store and managing like commercial trucking and tolling. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was doing. But while I was doing that, and this is the story that's never told, you know, when people just shoot up to the top or they have any sort of success, it's like, oh, that happened overnight. It's like, you don't know what happened behind the scenes. Like the nights that I would literally go from my trucking, you know, truck tolling job to then I would go right to the grocery store until midnight. And then I would literally write, this is before I did any video or anything, I would write for 4 hours on my downtownrams.com site. That would like lather, rinse, repeat. But the problem is my tolling job was at like 8 a.m. So I barely slept. So that's the thing, is that they kind of assume that like you cut corners, but in reality, I think it kind of evens out in the end. You could argue it's a little bit even more on the other side, but that's what it is, Rob. And it's not just reporters either. It's some of these teams that are set in their own ways, and it's why like it's been kind of difficult. Like I've gotten, you know, Rams on before, but I've never had like a really good rapport with Rams PR. And the way I always look at it like this is, I'm helping you. I'm a positive, you know, outlook on the Rams for the most part. And I mean, you guys don't really give us much to be negative about because it's been a really good team since McVay took over. But I'm a pretty positive dude, and it's like pulling teeth when in reality, PR is PR. Like I'm pushing the Rams. I'm putting out content during the dead period of the year. You know, work with me a little bit. I'm sure you know the same. But yeah, it is that kind of bias to like the old media. And then in addition to that, I think there's a lot of PR teams that haven't quite realized it's 2025. And like YouTube is a juggernaut now. I mean, just look, like The Herd is on YouTube, right? They put all of the TV shows on YouTube. Why is that, Rob? Why is that? If it's just YouTube and it's not a big deal, why is every show now on YouTube?
That's the thing. And I just think it's a lack of awareness, and it is, I just think it's so disrespectful. And not that like, look, I was the opposite path of you. I did go to school for this. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do in my life. I worked at ESPN Radio for 7 years. I worked for Pro Football Talk for 7 years at NBC. And then I was at Niners Nation. And now I'm doing this on my own. Like, so I have put in the time, Tim, if that's your issue. Like, nobody's got a better sports media resume than me that does this. I promise you, nobody has a better one. They might have the same, but I'm up there with anybody. So I hate to pat myself on the back, but that's just the
No,
reality.
do it. Let's go.
Like, just to sit there and say, oh, YouTube pros and we got a bro. It's like, have you even taken the time to consume the content of everybody that's out there? Because I guarantee you, Tim Kawakami hasn't done that. And that's what you're judging all of us, and you haven't even consumed our content. And that ticks me off a lot.
The funniest thing about it is not everybody, but there are a lot of reporters that don't watch tape at all. They don't do the dirty work. They don't, I mean, they're not even up to date on like the PFF numbers, and those are easy to get. Like if you say big time throws, they're not putting that in their articles. I've seen them. Like they're reporting it like it's the 1980s. That's what they're doing. You know,
it's frustrating because,
and we've had to adapt. And on top of that, can you imagine like it like, you know, what I've been dealing with the NFL, because they've been copyright claiming like all my stuff. It's like, so I don't get paid for any of that, even though like 98% of it is my face on it. So just think about that, like in terms of, I know they're not necessarily having to use copyright content. I get that when they're writing articles, but think about that. Like if you put 4 to 8 hours into a piece of content and all the money that you made went to the NFL, $23 billion company. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Anyway, we could go on and on and on about that.
Yeah, but we do our Thursday film show. I call it the demonetization station because we do the show and then the NFL takes all our money. None of it makes any sense. Before we go, I did want to hit this super check because Chris Burns says these Ram players are too young to remember the 17-game Niners streak over the Rams. Niners would call same old sorry ass Rams, need a big Ram win. I remember that streak.
I mean, I was young, but I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was, what's his name? Dana Stubblefield said that.
Same old Niners, same old sorry ass Rams. It's good line.
You know, he went to Kansas, and I'm a big Kansas fan. I mean, I know that there were some things that happened with him, but we're just talking about the good things, right?
Right. We're just talking about this specific line.
Yeah.
If the 49ers win this game, would you consider them a legitimate threat to win the NFC West?
Well, absolutely. Because if they win this game, then they have the tiebreaker over the Rams head to head. And they would be closing in on the tiebreaker with the Seahawks. And they have another shot at the Cardinals. And their schedule's pretty easy. So, yeah, I think that they would definitely, you know, it would now all of a sudden become a 3-team race. I think a lot of us have kind of assumed, yeah, it's going to be like a 2-team race between the Rams and Seahawks. But if the 49ers do end up taking that tiebreaker over the Rams, well, it becomes a little interesting because the Rams have the 49ers, they have the Seattle Seahawks, and they have Tampa, and they have the Lions. The Panthers aren't half bad. You know what I mean? Like, so, and then they have to play the Cardinals twice, and the Cardinals are actually not that bad now because, well, let's talk about it. They finally know who their starting quarterback is.
And it ain't Kyler Murray. He stinks.
Yeah. He, you know, I have this weird feeling. I want this out on the record. I kind of have a feeling Kyler Murray is going to go play baseball. I don't know why, but I kind of feel it in my bones. We're just going to wake up one day and be like, Kyler Murray is going to play for the Oakland Athletics or whatever the hell, wherever the hell they are now. Like, I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel like that's what's going to happen.
That would be crazy to just make that switch now. But yeah, in terms of the division, if the Niners win, obviously they're clearly in a good spot. If the Rams beat the Niners this week, do you think the Rams win the division?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I do.
Even though, how have you guys not played any other NFC West team except that one game against the Niners? What the hell? Who made that schedule?
Dude, the schedule is repulsive. They played 5 AFC teams all in the first half of the year.
Ugh.
All in the first 7 games?
Texans, Titans, Colts, Ravens, Jags.
It's insane.
Yeah,
the schedule's wild. Like, they play the Cardinals twice, like, you know, at the end of the year, and they play Seattle. And yeah, and then who's the genius that had 3 out of the 4 teams on a bye in the NFC West.
Yeah, and the Niners are the only NFC West team that didn't get a bye that week, and then they lost.
Yeah. Well, like when you're doing like the round table, it's like we only had one game to talk about. I mean, it's still our round table shows go long. It went over an hour, but we only had one game to talk about. It's pretty crazy when you think of it that way.
I should read this super chat. Social Ram or SoCal Ram, excuse me, 88 says, I've seen this movie before. The monkey is on again. I don't know what that means.
The monkey on the back? I don't agree.
Oh.
I think Kyle can get in McVay's head, but I don't think it's one of those things like where, you know, the Rams are held by the balls right now. Like, I don't think that at all. Because, I mean, if that was the case, they wouldn't have pushed into overtime. They wouldn't have shown the fight. So, yeah, I don't think that at all, personally.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it's not. The only thing that would surprise me is a blowout Niners victory. Because I think
that would be surprising. Yes. I guess the Rams are due because they've had 2 heartbreakers at the end of games, but I just don't see the Rams. If the 49ers lost that Thursday night game, then I could see them winning this. I just don't see the Rams getting swept. That's where it's hard for me to see that. Are we going to get to a score prediction?
Oh, okay. Well, I did predict that these 2 games would be split between the teams before the year began.
Okay.
I picked the Rams to win, a couple of weeks ago, and I was wrong. I'll pick the Rams to win again. I'll say 27-17 Rams.
Okay, we're kind of thinking the same thing. I'm going to go 31-19 Rams.
Even more points for the Rams. I see it. You're getting greedy. It's okay.
No, well, I had 38-13 the last game, so.
Ooh, okay. So
No. So what happened was, and I'll explain. So I had like a 23-20 game initially. And then, of course, we had the roundtable event, and I'm around all these people, and I'm live, and I'm feeling it. And I don't drink, so there was no alcohol in me to do this. So I take full responsibility. I was like, it's going to be 38-13. Like, I just went crazy. And then, like, Jesse, who picked the Rams initially, changed it to the 49ers, and we had, like, a little bit of a fan bit. And it was cool. But I think he was serious, and he definitely was feeling like the Niners were going to do it. And we've all been there, right? I mean, normally, like, especially my St. Louis Rams days of being a little fan, I'd be like, yeah, I have a feeling the Rams are going to win today. And it's like, well, of course you feel that way. You have no idea what you're talking about, but,
It's called hope.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, like Peyton Manning and the Broncos, we're totally going to. And then they actually won, and I was like, what the hell? Like, it's like I realized I didn't actually think that. I wanted to think that, and then when it happened, I was absolutely stunned. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers the crazy, what was it? Rodney McLeod hit on Emmanuel Sanders.
Damn. Did not think Rodney McLeod's name was going to come up on the show today.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Very true. Well, thank you so much for coming on again, Jake. I really appreciate it. And for all the kind words, really, man. I feel the exact same way about you. Really appreciate it. Good to have you on. Maybe we'll get a Niners-Rams matchup in the playoffs. Who knows? But thanks for the time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to meet up sometime. Don't you live by the pizza capital of the world, right?
Yes, I do. I live outside of New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay, so we need to get pizza sometime.
You come here, my treat. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, thanks, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to both channels, and we'll check you out after the game.